Hello and welcome to the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, bringing you the reasons we're broke, ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Daniel.
And this is episode number 173. This is a super action-packed two-part episode for all of you guys. So the way we format our show is first we start out with some news ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more. And typically we follow up with a highlight of one or two of the comics that we read throughout the week. So since this is a two-part episode, this first episode is going to be all news, so much news, but all great stuff. And then next week we'll have the continuation of news, and then we'll talk about two of the comics that we read this week that we wanted to highlight.
Yeah, with next week's episode also, we're going to have a spoiler review of Star Wars The Force Awakens now that Kelly has seen it.
Yes, finally got to see that.
And it seems like every single company out there decided to drop a bunch of news that related to the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, which actually works out really well for everyone out there. Kicking it off with our Patreon shout-out first of the week. Our sponsor, the best sponsors are always the listeners, the Brokettes. Goes out to Lourdes and Katie from Patreon. Thank you so much for your support every single month.
Yes, thank you so much. The reason we do this show is for you guys, and with your Patreon support, it just helps us make this show a little bit better for you every single week.
Yeah, we're currently working towards offsetting the cost of uploading the podcast every single month. And this year, I'm hoping that we hit the alphonic goal for our podcast, which does level out the audio and improve the audio for all of you. For an example of that, tune in to episode number 172, which is last week's. We do have 2 hours of credit every single month free that we get to use, but if we hit that alphonic goal, we'll be able to use the program for all of our episodes every single week and all of our unboxings, unbaggings, and the Pokemon and TCG Let's Plays.
And of course, our podcast will always be free for everyone. We do this because we like interacting and talking about all the things that make us broke, but this is just one small way you can help us make that better.
If you do want to support us on Patreon, just head on over to patreon.com/thereasonsimbroke. There's also a link to our Patreon on thereasonsimbroke.com. And perks include getting the episode early when you hit the at least $1 monthly donation. And then when you donate at least $5 a month, you also get the episodes early, but you get a decal based on what the rest of the Patreon Brokettes vote for. So it's kind of a themed loot crate, sort of decal crate type of event or service, but it goes towards helping out the podcast for Kelly and I.
Something great we'll also have next month for our Patreon supporters is an exclusive podcast. So this is something where our Patreon supporters write in, let us know what they want us to talk about, what they want to hear, and we create that just for them.
That's right. That's going to go exclusively out to our Brokettes on Patreon. If you want to read about it, again, you just have to become a backer on patreon.com/thereasonsimbroke. And as you heard earlier, we are splitting this episode into 2 episodes because of all the news that we have and how much we're going to elaborate on how much this hits everything that we talk about. The Patreon supporters are going to get both episodes back to back, and they can choose to consume it like they normally do, one per week, or they can do almost 2 hours of the show all at once with the 2 links for both episodes. That's completely up to them, to the Patreon supporters. But that's just an extra thank you to everyone that's helped us so far.
So before we jump into our news, something that Dan and I like to do is talk about our week. Good things that happen, bad things that happen, all the reasons that we're broke, which are usually a lot of reasons. So Dan, how was your week?
Mine was great. I had a health accomplishment also,
yes,
which you'll touch on yours in a minute. I went to the dentist after my wisdom teeth started growing in. So the one on my left bottom side started hurting all of a sudden. And the surgeon who I saw about 3 months ago said, if it hurts, you come back and you talk to me. If it does not hurt, no problem. Leave it alone. I was like, shit, all right. I don't have to go fucking get my teeth taken out. Because the dentist before that, who consulted me to the oral surgeon, said, yeah, we need to get these taken out. They're growing in sideways. They're going to screw up your teeth and all that. So they ended up hurting again 3 weeks ago, and that's when I'm like, shit, well, I gotta make the fucking appointment to the dentist, and they're gonna have to get them taken out. And went in there again with another dentist, and she said, all right, so here are the x-rays, these are the 4, we'll get all 4 taken out, it's gonna cost this much. I'm like, fucking man, that's a shit ton of money. I'm like, I'll call you guys back, well, maybe I'll make an appointment later on, it's a ton of cash. And she said, okay, well, let's talk to the surgeon. He still wants to take a look at it, and that way we can see what the progress is so far on the teeth. So I'm like, all right, cool. I go and wait. Same surgeon, oral surgeon that I had last time, because I go to the same place. And I don't know if they have different ones. I'm sure they do. But he came in, he talked to me again, and he said, So they started hurting. Like, yeah, they did. He's like, I jinxed it, as you Americans say. And I'm like, maybe you did. I don't know. And and he said, he's like, so all of it hurt? And I said, no, just the bottom left that started hurting again. He said, okay, I cannot justify the pain that you will feel if I do this surgery. If you want, you say, yes, I want them taken out. I numb you, take out your teeth, no problem. But for you, it's a lot of pain. I cannot describe the pain that you will be in. Other surgeons, they'll tell you, all 4 have to go, they make their money, they go home, you're in pain. To me, I'm different. I have to justify to myself what I put you through. I don't need the money, I live comfortably, I'm okay. But you will go through the pain. And I said, oh shit, man, well, thank you. And he said, it doesn't hurt now. We wait longer. We wait till it gets really bad, where it becomes necessary to take out the tooth. And I said, well, won't they fuck up my other teeth if they grow in? He's like, no. They grow in, that's where they're going to stay. They're fine. You'll just experience pain 2 to 3 times a year until they grow in. You're fine. It starts hurting even more. You come and see me. I take it out. But I cannot justify what I'd be putting you through. I said, this must be either the most badass and honest oral surgeon ever, or this is going to be a bad idea that I'll regret later on. And since I don't have the money for the surgery anyway, I'm going to take the advice of this professional. I don't have a degree in oral surgery. He does. He doesn't need the money, he says. The other dentist said, take all 4 out, fuck it. And he says, only the one's the problem. That's the one that's bothering you. Don't worry about it. And if we do, we'll take care of the one. And that's it. So I'm taking his advice.
Give that man money anyway. He's so nice.
So that was a personal victory for me.
Wonderful.
Because right now my tooth doesn't hurt and hasn't for about a week or 2. I'm okay, as he says.
Well, that's good news. Fabulous news. So reasons you're not broke.
Yes, fucking reasons I'm not broke because of that guy.
So, my health victory this week, and I talked about it a little bit on the last podcast, told everyone I would probably die, but I participated, I won't say ran, but I participated in a marathon, so 26.2 miles.
How much of it did you run and how much of it did you walk?
So I was running with friends, and when we signed up, I'll start back in February. We signed up in February, and my friend came to me, and she goes, hey, we should do a marathon. And I'm thinking, I had never run before, like ever. And I'm like, what are you talking about? We're not runners. We can't. What is this? And she's, no, it's in January. It's fine. We'll have time to train. It'll be great. We'll be fine. I was like, all right, well, fuck it. Whatever. Yeah, let's do a marathon. We've had no time to train since September. Because it's been work, holidays. Yep. No time to train. That being said, we decided on a very easy, simple pace. So we started out, we ran for 2 minutes, we walked for 4. And then as we got further into it, we felt, not dead. Then we'd run for 2.5, walk for 3.5. So I probably ran...
So on average, that's about half of the time?
More or less. It's probably a little less than half. I probably ran 1/3 of it and walked the other 2/3. But again, 26.2 miles, even walking it, is no joke.
No, that's still an amazing accomplishment.
Yeah. So we finished in 6 hours and 47 minutes. I had been up since 2 in the morning. Because usually I roll out of bed and go for a run, and then I just feel even grosser because I haven't showered. So I woke up and I showered before my marathon. Mm-hmm. And I did my hair and all that stuff. But... it was, I can't even describe it, the accomplishment you feel when you're done with that, like, oh, holy shit, like, look at what I just did. On top of that, it was a Run Disney race, which is the best put together anything that I've ever done. I did a half marathon late last year, and I've done a couple 5Ks, but there's nothing that compares to Disney, because you're running through the parks and they have bands set up on the side of the highway and a hot air balloon and light up Mike Wazowski and all the different characters that you never get to see, which I'm sad we didn't stop and see them, because you had the Hun from Mulan, Shan Yu. You never see him. You had Scrooge McDuck just
That's amazing.
hanging around. You had Jack Sparrow and Barbossa. I've never even seen a Barbossa costume.
Our two favorite characters from Pirates.
Yes, it was perfect. Jafar, you had the old hag from Snow White. You never get to see her out either. So, fantastic, and running backstage and through all the parks, and I ran through the castle, just through
Fuck
it.
you, Castle.
I was like, see you later, castle. It was amazing, but, more so than that to say, look what I was able to do, and I really only started running 8 months ago. And to be able to do that. And so now my feet are fucked up.
Yeah.
they hurt. So Daniel's watched me. I've limped around for days.
The body's not meant to run that distance for that long. 6.5 hours. There's a reason you have shin splints.
I don't have shin splints right now.
No, but you did, just from training and running.
Usually I have shin splints. So my feet hurt a lot. My knees hurt first thing in the morning, until I get up and shower and all the muscles loosen up. But I'm ready to run again. I'm ready for next year to beat that time, and that's awesome that I'm that crazy.
What was the fastest time for this particular marathon?
There was some guy who beat it in just under 3 hours.
Jesus.
Yeah. So, in that instance, you're pacing 5-minute miles for 26 miles. You don't even stop for the banana stops. I stop for every banana stop. I'm like, give me that fucking banana. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I get the banana. They have the gels. I'm like, give me. It was great because you have, for anybody who doesn't know, they make these energy gels where when you're about to work out, you take an energy gel before you work out, and it gives you all the nutrients that you need and energy. And then however many hours into it, you're supposed to take another one. So my friend brought a lot of these gels because she knew we need them. So every 5 miles, we'd take a gel or eat a protein bar or something to keep our energy up. And then about halfway through the race, they had little gel stops to stop and hand them out. We grabbed 3 or 4 from everybody there and stuff. I came home with $20 worth of gel.
I would have too. Those bitches are not cheap. I can't imagine they're
expensive.
cheap.
They're like $2 for a little gel.
Fuck.
So we had our little running pouches and we just stuffed them through. I looked pregnant in some of the pictures because I have so much stuff stuffed into my pouch. But I feel like I can do anything now. I did that and I can do anything.
Now, you told me that in other races, these runners that run for these long distances, when they have to, because this is what fascinated me out of anything, was when they have to take a shit, they just pull their shorts aside as they're running and they just go as they're running. Mm-hmm. That amazes me. One, the amount of courage and talent that you need to do that kind of thing. Did you witness that at this particular? Did you ever run through human shit?
I did not. So typically that happens. There are 100-mile races. Mm-hmm. And usually that's when it happens. And the thing that you don't think about, when you start these, is running this much, really fucks up your bowels.
Mm-hmm. All that bouncing.
Yeah, it's not fun. And you always take the best shit after a run. Always. It's just magical.
This is the most we've talked about feces on the podcast in the history of this. So this is a first for the show.
It's perfect. So no, I didn't see any of that. There was a lot of guys, they would because they had porta potties set up everywhere, but of course there's always a line. So you stop to go to the bathroom, you take 5, 6, 10 minutes off your time depending on how the line is. So you would just see people run off into the woods and pull their shorts aside. Guys would just whip it out and go, and you tuck it back in and you're just right back on the road. I had so much penis envy because then I have to stand and wait for this porta potty that probably contained AIDS. I don't know. It was real gross.
Didn't you say women ran into the woods too?
Yeah, women would. And the hilarious thing, so we started at 5-something in the morning. I think it was 5:40, 5:50 by the time we started running. We weren't even a mile down the road and people were running into the grass to pee and take a shit. And then half a minute later, there was a porta potty on the side. I'm like, did you have to go that badly? 1, there were porta potties half a mile back. 50 of them. You could have gone.
Picked any one of them.
We sat in that corral for an hour. 2, there was a porta potty half a mile down the road that people weren't using because they took a shit back there. Why can't I? It just blew my mind. And they would go in couples, a guy and a girl. They just go to pee together.
Because they want to finish together too.
I guess. Finish peeing together, finish running together.
So what did they give you for running the marathon? I know you got a t-shirt that had the marathon on it.
That was an awesome t-shirt. Real high quality, that cooling fabric, that you're supposed to sweat in. And it's a fantastic t-shirt. And it has Mickey on it. It says Marathon 2016. Disney Marathon, whatever. I got that. They gave me a bunch of snacks at the end, so I got some Oreos and stuff. A big-ass medal. Huge medal. It's super heavy, and I'm like, this is awesome. I'm gonna hang this on the wall somewhere. Start taking down family pictures. Like, fuck them. I ran a marathon. Bragging rights.
Yep.
They're trying to sell me pictures. I don't think I'm going to purchase pictures.
No, you got good pictures already.
Yeah. Well, and it's $20 a picture. Like,
yeah, that's insane.
I'm not going to pay $20 a picture. And that was pretty much it.
That's great, though. That's awesome. You're feeling better now than the day after.
I mean,
you obviously lived through it.
I did.
Cats are hearing you now.
I did. And, so the funny thing, like I said, I ran a half marathon earlier in the year. And I was dumb and naive. And the night before, I think I got 3 hours of sleep, and I woke up and I ate a slice of pizza, and I probably had beer and pizza the night before, and I felt terrible at the end of my half. I got home, I slept for 7 hours, I woke up, I still felt terrible, my leg hurt for, God, how long did my leg hurt? Like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 or 3 weeks. My leg was just messed up. I wore a compression sleeve every day just so it wouldn't hurt all the time. Terrible. I felt better after my full marathon than I did after my half because I drank nothing but water for 3 days before. I watched what I ate. I slept 7 hours the night before. It's amazing how, like, those little changes, because it really wasn't that much different. I just drank more water and slept a little more and didn't eat pizza and macaroni and cheese and whatever else the hell I wanted to eat.
Do you feel more confident now running into those running specialty stores? And you feel like, I ran a marathon. All of these things you sell here, I know what they are. They all apply to me.
I still don't know what they are.
Okay, so you still feel like you're being judged like I do when I go in there with you? I know the running guy behind there with the running shorts and the shirt. He has his own medals in the back of the store because he owns this fucking shop. He's looking at me like, that Mexican guy does not run shit. Look at him with those short legs. He's never going to cover any distance.
I mean, I guess I feel a little bit better because I do know some, because I learned and, of course, researched. So I know how to tape up my legs and my feet. So when I buy tape, I'm like, yes, this tape, I know how to use it. Compression sleeves and compression socks are kind of my jam. Those things are awesome. I know a little bit about shoes, not a lot. I put them on, I'm like, these are comfortable, cool, but there's all different types of shoes, so you have neutral and stability and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. One thing I do want to start looking into, because I've heard it helps a lot, is they sell like these giant sticks. They're like massage sticks or the foam rollers, and you're supposed to use those after every run to help the recovery process because it loosens up your muscles, because stretching is the most important thing in the world.
Right.
It's insane how much that helps. So that's something that I don't know anything about yet, which it all comes in time. Like I said, I'm a fairly new runner. This was my first big race, and of course I was dumb and signed up for another half in March, and then I'll do another half in December, and then another full next January.
But that's the thing, you have to do it. Because if you don't keep doing these events every couple of months, when you eventually get to the other marathon next year, you're not going to be as well trained to do it.
Right. But even if you're not a runner, I recommend that everybody do it. There were people I were running with where I'm going, really? You run? You can walk? Like, really? But these people go. You just have to make a 16-minute mile, which most people can walk. And you just got to get out there and say, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it. And then at the end, you get Oreos and a medal. But you get bragging rights forever, I am going to wear my Disney Marathon shirt all the time, whenever I can.
Don't forget your sticker on the back of your car.
Yes, I got to put that 26.2. Technically, it was 27 miles because they made me walk a mile to the start line, but whatevs.
So this has been Wisdom Running with Kelli and Daniel. That's the podcast's name. Heard about wisdom teeth. You heard about running. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Oh, so you were giving your input on the wisdom teeth. Okay.
Right. Wisdom Running. Okay. That's the name of this podcast.
I like it. I approve. We could talk about running. I could talk about running all day long.
You can talk about Pokemon running to the fucking bank because of all the shit that they just announced for the 20th anniversary for Pokemon.
True.
Japan got their shit. They got their announcements and their programs, their merchandise, their plans for what they're going to come out with. But North America and Europe are kind of like, well, what about us? When's ours coming up? And they fucking dropped it last week. Tons of shit. The Pokemon International company lit up the video game world with its plans to celebrate 20 years of Pokemon.
This is a ton of news. This will probably take up the rest of this podcast. But we'll see. So, first thing they announced, distribution of a monthly mythical Pokemon starting next month.
These are the legendaries, which are very important to a lot of the Pokemon players out there, especially the younger players. Whenever I do sell a Pokemon TCG product to kids, they mainly like the ones that have the legendaries on it. Not necessarily because they're the best cards, but because they're the coolest Pokemon in their minds. They're the hardest to get. You could only get one, and now you can get a ton of them throughout the various months for the rest of the year.
So first off, in February, we're going to start out with Mew. This will be distributed the 1st through the 24th at GameStop.
Kicking it off strong right there. Mew is huge, hasn't been distributed for years, and now they're doing a ton of Pokemon product just for that Pokemon, including a TCG box set.
The best would be if they distributed this, and then the directions were like, go under that truck by the SSN to receive your prize.
That would be amazing.
That'd be perfect.
For March, Celebi will be given away on the Nintendo Network.
In April, we have Jirachi, also through the Nintendo Network.
In May, Darkrai through GameStop.
In June, Manaphy, again, Nintendo Network.
Also, the Nintendo Network will be the following month. That's in July for Shaman.
In August, we have Arceus via GameStop.
The god of Pokemon right there, Arceus. Victini in September from Nintendo Network.
Keldeo in October through Nintendo Network.
Back over to GameStop in November for Genesect.
And rounding out the year again through Nintendo Network, we have Meloetta in December.
Capping off the year, musical Pokemon, holidays.
Really? I thought it was in order of the games.
Oh shit, you're right. It is.
Oh yeah, Pokemon Master. Know more about Pokemon than you. I know all the Pokemon things.
But you know what? It just so happened to be because Keldeo, October, he's obviously the scariest Pokemon out there.
That would be Darkrai, who they put in May.
I tried to make that work and it did not.
It did not.
But at least Meloetta fit in there for Christmas.
And no, because I would put Arceus for Christmas, because Christmas and Jesus and Arceus and God Pokemon. Come on, Dan. And then why is Mew February?
Because it's pink, like Valentine's Day.
Yes. Boring.
There, I got one.
Celebi in March. Nothing happens in March. Mother's Day.
July for Shaman. That would have been better in spring.
Yeah. Too. Okay. So it comes out in order of the games.
Fine. 20 years of Pokemon. 20 years of legendaries that you can get for free through Nintendo Network and through GameStop. Which one of these, if any, are you going to port over to your game?
Mew. That's the only one I want.
Definitely Mew for me as well. Maybe I'll get an Arceus because I know someone will want it in the future. Darkrai, especially, is very popular. And I've never had a Meloetta, so I may get one of those in December.
Meloetta's lame.
I've never used one, so I don't know. It looks lame, but I don't. It could be an awesome Pokemon.
It looks lame.
Also, Jirachi. Jirachi was one of my favorites of all of these legendaries to use. It was. I don't remember which game it debuted in. Was it Ruby and Sapphire? I can't recall. But it was a steel legendary, and it had Doom Desire was one of the moves, and it was probably the best steel move, and correct me if I'm wrong if that's not the right name for it, but it had an exclusive move that only Jirachi could use, and it helped me out a lot when I was going through the game, and it ended up being on my competitive team back before I stopped using legendaries because I discovered that, well, actually these other abilities are probably better, and on the other side, you can't use legendaries in a lot of tournaments.
Mew's the only one I care about, but I'm like 90% Gen 1er, so oops.
The 2DS bundles that we covered a couple of episodes ago, we're not going to be receiving those. At least there's no news of that yet. But instead, maybe, they did tell us that North America will be getting the 20th anniversary new 3DS bundle, which includes Pokemon Red or Blue pre-installed on a special edition system.
The 3DS will come with a special edition theme and exclusive faceplates featuring Charizard or Blastoise.
In the original artwork, that means I'm not getting my Pokemon Green.
No.
I could have had a Venusaur 3DS
and you would have jumped on that so fast.
They couldn't have translated Pokemon Green just for Daniel.
Nope.
Because I know it's the least popular of the starters from Gen 1. But you just spend the money, Nintendo. You're going to make a ton anyway. I mean,
whatever,
just put out
Nintendo.
Pokemon Green.
Just release like 5 of them. 1 for Dan and 4 to sit on the shelves.
And you also didn't get your Pokemon Yellow.
Yeah, but something people did point out is it's not the 20th anniversary of Yellow, so there's still hope for me.
People on Twitter also said, you got your Pikachu 3DS.
Yeah.
And that's probably a better version than the Pokemon Yellow version of the 2DS bundle.
Okay, however, I do have my Pikachu 3DS. Would I purchase another Pikachu DS? Yes. So why not?
So if you're Pokemon, it makes sense to bring it out because
Yes, of
Pikachu's
course.
the most popular Pokemon out there.
See, what's going to happen is they're going to bring this Pikachu 2DS over here. Cool, I'll buy it. Whatevs. And then when it's the 20th anniversary of Yellow, they'll bring out a Pikachu Yellow 3DS, and I'll buy it. Whatever, it's Pikachu. And then I'll have 3 DSs when I don't even play my one right now because I have no time, but they'll all be Pikachu. And then I have to purchase themes for all of them so that they can all be Pikachu themed. It's a sickness.
You have a theme now for your current Pikachu 3DS.
I do, it's great. You open it, it goes Pika!
That's so awesome.
And I just...
You spent a good 15 minutes trying to decide which one to buy.
I bought like 4 of them.
Oh, Jesus. I thought you just picked out one.
No, I definitely bought like 4. Well, because what happened is I bought one, and I was like, this is really cute. And then they came out with a bundle where it came with 2 of them, and so I bought both of them, and then I bought another one too.
So yeah, 4.
So yes, I bought 4. But one of them was a bundle, so it technically only counts as one.
And I'm sure you saved something by buying it like that.
50 cents.
So those 2DS bundles from Japan, to any of our European brokettes out there, you will be getting those bundles.
Super jelly. So these include Pokemon Yellow, Blue, or Red pre-installed on the system, along with a theme to match the game and the color of the 2DS system.
Note that Pokemon Green is still not included in the European release. I don't know if that ever released in Europe 20 years ago or however long it was, but they will at least get the Pikachu Pokemon Yellow.
I'm still waiting for that one.
Next on their 20th anniversary news and celebrations, while this may not be that first generation set of Pokemon cards, the base set that we had previously talked about, they will be releasing a Pokemon generation set which includes the first generation of Pokemon.
So the press release for this says, celebrate 20 years of Pokemon with the Pokemon TCG Generations expansion, covering every stage of a trainer's journey, from the choice of a first partner Pokemon to the most elite of trainer battles. Featuring Pikachu, Snorlax, Ninetales EX, and Jolteon EX, plus Mega Charizard EX, Mega Blastoise EX, and Mega Venusaur EX. The Generations expansions is a power to be reckoned with. Train on.
Train on is the slogan that they're using for Pokemon 20. If you go to hashtag Pokemon 20 on Twitter, you will see Pokemon's original story and tweet, but also a ton of trainers that have shared their Pokemon love, including us, with the Reasons I Broke podcast. Just so happy that we have reached 20 years and that Nintendo, the Pokemon company, is doing something big around it with all of its releases. These things probably would have... We still have probably the same number of things coming out this year as they would have in any other year of Pokemon, but just the fact that they're bringing out exclusive products and exclusive items and then highlighting what they're already coming out with makes them more special. And the throwback to the original Pokemon will get some of the older Pokemon players to buy those cards. The younger ones will be reintroduced to the ones that we grew up with. And people like me can hope that, one, they bring out another Bulbasaur card, because I'm trying to collect all the Bulbasaur commons, but also Mega Venusaur, to many others out there, Mega Charizard, to you, Pikachu, another Pikachu card for your Pikachu binder.
Pikachu! I need all the Pikachu things!
All great things. Generations will include EXs, as you mentioned, like Venusaur, Charizard, but also Vaporeon, Articuno, and many more.
There will also be special energy cards for each type included in this set.
Those look great, the energies. They're barred off in different colors based on whatever you use. They work just the same as any energy, but Pokemon players love them because they never go out of rotation. You could always use them. If there was ever a holographic energy card, you could use it 10 years from now when the game is still going. In my personal deck, I played the TCG pretty religiously with the Psychic Pokemon, so I had some hollow energies, and when I got back into it with Gengar EX, I put those energies right in there because they work just the same. You can still use them, and many of the younger players are like, where did you get those? What is that? What set is that from? And I'm like, I don't know, from fucking 6-7 years ago?
Forever ago, before you were born, kid.
A long time ago, and now they're bringing them out, making them special again, and I think that's great, because again, players love that stuff.
I would use the energies from the first set. Just like the plain ass looking ones that are all white around the edges now because they're so old. Like your dog picked it up once.
You can say first edition on it.
Yeah.
They don't make those
exactly
anymore.
what I would use. Well, of course not. That's why I would use them. And then little kids would be like, oh, that looks really old. I'd be like, I'm really old, kid.
This card is older than you.
So far we've covered Pokemon for people who play the game, Pokemon for the trading card fans out there. We also got some Pokemon news for the anime.
That's right, the newest Pokemon anime, titled Pokemon the Series XYZ, is now set to air in the US on Cartoon Network starting February 20th.
In addition to this, the many previous Pokemon movies will be getting re-released digitally remastered throughout the year.
The platforms that these will be available on include iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
Amazing. Let me watch that Pokemon the first movie again and sob.
Let me get these on fucking Blu-ray, and so far they're just going to be digital. So put it out on Blu-ray, guys. Put out a box set of these Pokemon movies
all of
digitally remastered.
Perfect.
You can sell them bitches.
Oh yeah, how much do you think it'd sell for?
If you included every single one of the Pokemon movies, you can probably put a $60 to $70
Yeah,
Blu-ray
easy.
price tag on it. If they're all digitally remastered, the new ones you can release as is, just as Blu-ray, because, I mean, how much fixing could they possibly need? Bring it out, and you're good. Or if you wanted just the first 3 movies as a 3-pack set, also digitally remastered, $25 on it.
That's awesome. I would definitely buy it. And then if you put like a Pikachu cover on it, then shit, it's Pikachu.
And a special theme.
Yeah, perfect. Like it turns my TV into a Pikachu. Like a Pikachu theme for my TV. Give me themes for my PS4. Shit, like PS4, not even Nintendo. I would buy it.
Even the football fans can't escape the Pokemon 20th anniversary.
Yes!
There will be a Super Bowl Pokemon ad that will air during the game on Sunday, February 7th. That's just a few weeks away now.
Yeah, so last year, a 30-second ad cost advertisers roughly $5 million to air to 114.4 million viewers.
Reportedly, more and more viewers are watching the Super Bowl, so allegedly this next one should be the most viewed one so far. What is your prediction as to what the Pokemon Company will advertise during their 30-second spot?
Pokemon Yellow something.
It's
Pokemon Yellow, redone, like Heart Gold and Soul Silver. We'll call it Pokemon Lightning Yellow. Fuck, done.
So you think that's going to be the game for this year, and that's what they're going to use their 30-second $5 million thing on?
No, I think what they're really going to use it on is to send a Pokemon out there going, we made 20 times this, bitch. We're Pokemon. They walk off.
So they brag with their ad.
I hope so.
My prediction is they will put out Pokemon Go shortly after the ad releases. Download now on your mobile device.
That's super smart.
And that's when they're going to launch Pokemon Go. That's what I think.
So much sense. Probably.
Because now they're in halftime or whenever they air this ad, people will immediately go down to their phone, download the Pokemon app, and you've just downloaded it to hopefully millions of viewers out there.
My dad will not be downloading Pokemon Go. Are you kidding? My dad and his friends watching the Super Bowl are not going to go, oh, maybe I should download Pokemon Go.
I guess not, but it's still going to be a lot of exposure that they're going to get to that program, to that ad. Other viewers are thinking that this will be their chance to announce Pokemon Z, which, similar to what you thought, except it'd be the next one in the Pokemon X and Y series.
But that's lame.
That's going to probably make them more money this fall than Pokemon Go. I know Pokemon Go is going to be pay to play if you want, but a 3DS title at $40?
Yes, but the other thing to consider is I think Pokemon Z is going to appeal more to younger audiences, obviously, than adults. If you want the adults watching the Super Bowl to buy your game, you're going to re-release Pokemon Yellow, Pokemon Blue, Pokemon Red, redone, and get them that way. You're not going to get, I mean, even me, if they're like, Pokemon Z, at this point, I'm like, I'm kind of done with the new Pokemon games. But if they told me, hey, this old game that you used to love that you haven't played since you were 10 years old, those are the audiences that you're going to hit with the Super Bowl.
You say you're almost done with the new Pokemon games.
Yes.
But I know you're going to buy the next Pokemon game, even if it's Pokemon Z.
You don't know me.
Especially because you love the fact that you can create Kelli in the Pokemon world with the new engine in X and Y.
You don't know me. Who do you think you is?
We're going to rewind back to this episode months later when you have the new Pokemon game.
But I didn't even beat X and Y.
I didn't say you're going to beat this game. You're going to give them money for it.
I don't know that I will. You don't know me? You think you know me? Fine, let's rewind to this when I haven't purchased it. And you're saying I will. And then at that point, you can buy the game for me.
So let us know, Brokettes, what you think, what your best predictions are as to the millions of dollars that they're going to spend on this ad. What are they going to advertise on Twitter at ReasonsI'mBroke or Facebook.com/TheReasonsI'mBroke.
Hey, this is Brock from Pokemon.
And James from Pokemon. And you're listening to the Reasons I'm Broke podcast.
Which is one of my favorites. Why? Because so many girls listen to it. Which is unlike me, because no girls listen to me.
I don't know what you mean. All the girls listen to me, especially Jessie, though she still has yet to help me capture Pikachu.
So moving away from Pokemon news, which was a hell of a lot of Pokemon news, this year is going to be amazing. Last week we talked about some new things that are coming to Netflix. We got some great positive feedback from that. So we're going to take this chance to talk about what's new on Hulu. These are highlights for January 2016.
Yeah, a special shout out to Brocat Bobby who suggested we do the Hulu list. And let us know, Brocats, also if you do like these highlights for them. If we gave you the full list, this would be just a Hulu podcast at this point. So these are just the ones that relate to the podcast that Kelli and I have seen, or the ones that we recommend for you to watch. First one coming to Hulu this month is Breakfast at Tiffany's.
That's a great movie, wonderful classic. Audrey Hepburn at her finest. This was probably, I've heard so much about this movie. We saw it for the first time early last year.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. Obviously, you watch it and it's an older movie, so there's things like, why is she doing that? She's just being silly.
And everyone's drinking and smoking.
Yeah, it's perfect. All the time. All they do is drink and smoke. I'm like, you're gonna get cancer and liver disease.
See, for me, I go, you're gonna get cancer and have a lot of fun. So the next one also on the television side from the Science Channel.
How It's Made, the complete season 17.
I love how it's made. I'm huge on science too, so just watching on television how they break down items that you could never figure out how they make them, and just seeing it explained, you'd figure like it'd be some boring program, but it's so fascinating to see all the materials that they go through, all the work that they put in making even something as small as like a pencil or an eraser, and then something as complex as like maybe a screw that they have to test to make sure it's all perfect and well shaped and weighted. There's just so much on that, and I'm definitely going to spend hours watching how it's made.
Didn't they have one where they made crayons?
The crayons one
That's
is
my
one,
favorite.
yeah.
I love watching crayons be made. I'm so old. Next up, we have Adventure Time Season 6, put out by Cartoon Network.
We'll catch up. I think we were missing seasons 3, 4, and 5 that we haven't watched. But season 6, we'll watch. There's an Adventure Time movie in the works, so we want to keep up with the show as much as we can. We're definitely reading every single one of the comics, but the show is something that we could use a little more time on. We've also got the season finale on Fox for American Idol. Series finale, I should say, because there's going to be no more of these after this, which I'm personally happy with.
I mean, it doesn't affect me one way or the other. I think I watched the first season when Kelly Clarkson won.
I saw the first season when they showed the shitty singers, and that was always the theme with all my friends was they just watched the first like 4 episodes when you had
all anybody does.
All the planted singers, like you're not really a singer. We're just gonna put you on there because you're entertaining. It's like all right, we get it.
Who was that guy a few years ago? The Asian guy who was terrible.
William Hung.
Yeah, him. What was his song? I don't even remember.
It was "Livin' La Vida Loca." I'm pretty sure it was something by Ricky Martin, and it was. Yeah.
But then he came out with, he got an album deal.
He did, because he got famous from that. People were like, yeah, we support you, William Hung. I used to play the DDR game on the computer. It was, I don't remember what the title of it was, but you use the keyboard keys, and that'd be the arrows.
That's boring. You're not even dancing.
But when you're in school, in high school, and you're going through class, and you're trying to kill time because you finished your project early, you go on the Flash channel for this the game, and you could just play all these DDR songs, some of the classic ones, but also original ones. And there was a song there for William Hung and his Ricky Martin song.
I'm gonna have to look this up when the podcast is over, because he had another song too, like an original. And I remember I was in high school and everybody sang it.
Also from Fox coming up, New Girl Season 5.
Ugh, I love this show. We haven't watched it in like 3 seasons now.
Coach came back. That's one of the characters that was in the pilot of the show. And he had something else that he was filming, so they had to replace his character. But he later came back in Season 3 or 4, which I was really happy about. And now apparently he's gone again.
I don't know. We haven't watched in forever. People broke up. People got back together. I don't know what's happening anymore. Great show, though. Next, we have another one of our favorites, Cannot Wait, from Fox, Hell's Kitchen Season 15.
That's an obsession of ours on Hulu, is Gordon Ramsay.
Terrible obsession.
Even before we got Hulu, any way we could watch all of Gordon Ramsay's shows. Even The F Word was another one of those shows that never made it as big here in North America, but we're like, yeah, let's fucking watch that too. Hotel Hell.
Yes, I love Hotel Hell.
Which people online justifiably were like, what's the chef doing rating hotels? I'm like,
Who cares?
You're right, but it's going to be entertaining as hell.
Who cares? Exactly.
And in the show, he made his way into the kitchen too, because every one of these hotels had a restaurant. So he just eventually made it back into the kitchen. It's like, look, see, it's the fucking same thing.
There was also that one where the 2 restaurants competed.
That was Best Restaurant. They titled it like Gordon Ramsay's Best Restaurant. That was another good one that also did better overseas than it did in North America. Because that was more like, okay, these are 2 restaurants that are really good. And they put them through tests because they make a lot of money. They have this reputation. And then Gordon will go in there with his guys, put in secret diners.
Yeah.
And eventually a bunch of these restaurants would compete. And the best one would get like an upgrade or tons of money or a cookbook. I don't remember.
Nothing. They just got to be on TV.
Tons of advertisement. But that's one of those shows that didn't do as well here because we Americans want to see like a failing restaurant.
Yeah. Like Kitchen Nightmares.
They want to see Kitchen Nightmares. They want to see Gordon yelling at people on Hell's Kitchen. They don't want to see successful people in their restaurant and
people
the inner
doing
workings
well?
of that.
Ow.
No, we want to see shitty restaurants with shitty owners and seeing them fail later on after Gordon Ramsay's already gone.
Even those shows, like, I love those shows, not just because of Gordon Ramsay, because yes, I do love Gordon Ramsay, but I also work in the food industry. So when he's going into these restaurants and seeing these things, and you hear me all the time, I'm like, oh no, they need to do this. Like, they should do this and then they'll be fine. And then Gordon's like, you should do this and you'll be fine. And I'm like, I told you, Gordon Ramsay. And then it's even gotten to the point that Daniel and I will go out to dinner and maybe there's like nobody in there in the restaurant. And we're like, oh, why is there nobody here? And I'm like, well, if they just did this, then they get people all the time.
You're the same way, though, because you work in the food industry, so when you go to other restaurants or food places, you can immediately pick out, like, okay, this is what I would improve here.
Right, of
This
course.
is what they should do. And I do the same thing when I go to comic shops. Even when I went to Midtown Comics in New York City, one of the busiest, most famous comic shops in the world. And I found so much stuff in there that I said, oh my God, they need to fix all of this. Their back issues look like shit. And so I'm the same way with all of that.
Just shows that we're good at our job. But the moral of the story is we love Chef Ramsay.
Shows that we're judgmental at our job.
That too.
I don't know about good.
Cannot wait for the next season of Hell's Kitchen.
On the sci-fi side, on Hulu, The X-Files Season 10. Highly anticipated. There was a comic already titled Season 10 for The X-Files. I doubt they're going to follow that exactly. They're going to do their own thing, which is fine. Because that was what held off X-Files fans until they finally revealed that they were going to do another season of it. I see it doing really well because there's so much buzz around this.
Right.
So awesome. Great that it's hitting Hulu. And I'm going to jump right in. I've seen a few episodes here and there growing up. And then I started watching the first season, like the first 4, and I related most to Gillian Anderson's character, who was a skeptic, because I'd also be like, that's not real, Mulder, you're fucking crazy.
I've never seen any X-Files, so I'm definitely going to have to watch a few before we jump into this.
There will also be one of 2 comic shows that are hitting Hulu, brand new ones. The final one from Fox is Lucifer.
I love religious people when they talk about this show.
The title alone must send them in a tizzy.
Well, of course, but there's that, and then it's glorifying the character of Satan. So, you know, it revolves around Lucifer, and he comes to Earth, and he does things, whatever. But he's this good-looking man with money, and
Picking up women, solving murder cases.
my heart's all a flutter. Stop.
That's all you need, guys. Just be good looking, have lots of money.
That's
It's
it.
that easy. Jeez.
Gosh, so easy. This is a show I do want to watch, though. Even though I don't think it's going to be that good.
I don't think it's going to last more than one season, to be honest with you.
I agree. But I want to see it.
On ABC, one of our newer obsessions is Shark Tank. But there's Beyond the Tank, and it's going to have its season premiere, which has already started. There are 2 episodes in.
Woohoo!
To anyone not familiar with Shark Tank, it's an entrepreneur show where a lot of these inventors or company business starters present their idea in front of millionaires and billionaires. Usually it's 4 of them, and they rotate 1 or 2. Sometimes they have a guest star. And they present their idea, and these rich individuals will either back their idea, make a deal with them, have X amount of revenue, or they'll all completely pass. Beyond the Tank actually follows the deals that they have made and shows where they're struggling or how they've been successful. And it's really fascinating because then you get to see the struggle that they go through even when they get the funding to make their company grow.
Right, and it's not even necessarily somebody who's made deals. Every once in a while, they'll throw in somebody that everybody passed on. So you get to see them go after this and say, look, I didn't make a deal. Hindsight, I wish I had just agreed with what they're telling me, or maybe it worked out better because I could go in the direction that I wanted, or this is how I'm struggling with this still. What amazes me is these shows, or these businesses go on these shows and they say, we've only made $100,000 in the last 3 months. And then you see them on Beyond the Tank and they go, in the last year we've made $4 million because they just got all that exposure from Shark Tank. But it's a really fascinating show. We love it. Check it out. It's really good.
The final show that we're highlighting coming to Hulu this month, and also our other superhero show, is DC's Legends of Tomorrow from the CW.
Super excited. This has Flash and Hawkman and a bunch of other people. We've talked about it before on the show. We give you guys news updates as we get them also. I think this is going to be really, really big.
It's like the television's Justice League. That's what this is. And next season, we're supposed to have Constantine in season 2, so that's really cool. You're seeing some of the characters that normally probably can't hold their own show. Like, you have the Atom on there.
Constantine held his own show.
He held half a season.
Okay.
But we loved it, and we really liked it.
Yeah, it was great.
And maybe we'll get another season out of it, depending on how he does in Legends of Tomorrow. But regardless, just the fact that he has a platform to be featured on is amazing. The fact that we have a show like Legends of Tomorrow in itself is awesome. So we can't wait to see this. It's spinning off of The Flash and Arrow.
So those are our Hulu highlights of things that are coming. Hulu highlights. That's so much fun to say. Our Hulu highlights of things that are coming out in January. Once the February list hits, we'll again give you another update. If you'd like to hear what was on Hulu, let us know at Reasons I'm Broke. Just say, yeah, it was cool to know what's coming out on Hulu, and cool to find out that you love Gordon Ramsay so much.
Yeah, and we'll split it up with Netflix and Hulu. So one episode next month we'll do Netflix, and then the following week we'll do Hulu for February, and it'll continue like that throughout the year. So once again, huge thanks to Bobby for suggesting that we cover Hulu, and to the Brokettes for the feedback on last week's Netflix coverage, which that idea was given to us by Broquette Maceo.
So now we're going to jump into a little bit of movie news. First up, MGM CEO Gary Barber was quoted on Variety saying, "There's no doubt that we're making a Creed 2.
A little bit of movie news you mentioned earlier, that does not relate to superheroes, because there's a shit ton of everything news this week.
This is true.
So Creed 2, that is coming. It was a huge success, also made tons of money, and it's getting awards already with the Golden Globes that just ended. Sylvester Stallone won one.
Yay!
And he and director Ryan Coogler would still need to hammer out a story, but both do have some ideas for Creed 2.
Well, of course, there's so many ideas, so many stories that you could tell with these characters. After we saw it, I had no doubts that there would be a second. And you're over here saying, oh, yeah, they ended it really well, there won't be another one. Please.
But if they ended it here, it would have been a good ending.
Correct. But there's so much more that they could do.
Like what? What would you want to see in Creed 2?
I would really want to see the furthering of Creed's relationship with his woman, because her hearing's failing. So that could present a lot of opportunities and a lot of conflict right there, where they're both having to work together through. I mean, this is one of the worst things you could go through in life, you know. Soon you'll no longer be able to hear. where do you go from there? You also have Rocky with his failing health. Like, he's still got to get better. We don't know that he's better. Mm-hmm. He might never get better. So what does Creed do in those moments? There's still... I don't think they touched on enough of, his father.
With Apollo, yeah.
Right, exactly. So we know, Apollo's your dad. And that's pretty much all they touched on. He just got the name. But there's got to be a lot more that comes with that. Maybe there's enemies. So bring in some of those villains or whatever. Some of that comes back.
And they all box too, so he has to fight them all.
Of course. But something like that comes back. Or, there's got to be something more to that. We also, at the end of it, you didn't get to see him going back and talking to his mom. Like, his mom watches him, and that's the end of it. There's so much more they could have done with his mom and with those characters. The thing that Creed was great is it built these characters and built all that emotion, and there's still so much more you can go with that. And that's what I want to see. I don't want to see action. I want to see pieces of these characters' lives.
And that's exactly how the first Rocky was. As they continued in the franchise, like by the time you got to Rocky 4, it was mainly action and fighting. But if you go back to Rocky 1, it's all about his progression to trying to push himself to prove that he's not just a bum in the neighborhood, that he is not just getting money, working for a gang member and getting money throughout the city, that he is something. And that's what that whole movie was about. It wasn't about the fight. It was about going the distance and proving to himself that he could be something bigger than he ever thought. And they went back to that with Creed and they tied it in beautifully with Apollo, who was a really interesting character in the series because you saw him throughout all of them up to Rocky 4. So that was amazing. Stallone was quoted saying, "Ryan has some ideas of going forward and backward and actually seeing Rocky and Apollo together."
That would be awesome. I don't even know how they do it, but that'd be so cool.
They would either have to pull some kind of CGI, Terminator, young Stallone type of thing, or they would have to recast and just try to find a couple of actors that sort of look like Apollo and Stallone and try to refilm some scenes.
Or they're in heaven together.
So it's a sci-fi movie now.
I guess. So Stallone and Coogler want to continue to explore the relationship between Adonis, Creed, and Bianca as played by Tessa Tompkins, which is exactly what I said they should do. Thank you guys for listening to my podcast.
Stallone continued by saying, "The complication will come with the girl's ambition because she's not Adrian. She has places to go, things to see. The clock's running on her hearing." Yeah.
Once again, thank you for listening to my podcast because I said all these things.
The big difference between Adrian and Bianca is that Adrian was completely there for Rocky. She did not like what he did with the boxing and was always frightened to see him hurt in the ring. But with Bianca, she's someone that's also growing and becoming famous and has her own artwork that she's working through, just like Adonis is working with his boxing. So they each have their own careers that are going, unlike Adrian's, who is more of a supporting character than a standalone. And I love Adrian just fine, but he's just pointing out that they're not going to be the same characters, that there is going to be a conflict there between Adonis and Bianca.
I think that's good, too. I think that plays very well into the people that they are. I like that they pointed out, or that you pointed out, that Adrian was always scared when Rocky would box. I think Bianca had some hesitation to it, but I don't think she's scared. I think she's very supportive of him. Like she said in the movie, Creed's your name, own up to it. You like to fight, you're good at it, so this is what you need to do. And I think that that's a really, really great part of her character, for him to have that kind of support where it's not somebody who's saying, no, don't go do this. It's do this. How do I fit in to help you with that? But at the same time, they're going to have to work through, of course, she wants to be a singer. She only has X amount of years left. I'm here. I support you, but I need to go do my thing and you need to be supportive of that also. So it's going to create an interesting dynamic, but very, very real situations.
Something that was not included here in the notes for Creed 2 was Stallone. He was just running his mouth on this because he wants this thing done.
Of course.
He wants it done as quickly as possible. His own clock is ticking.
He's like, I just won an Academy or a
Golden Globe.
Like, come on, let's do another.
He said that he does want a villain as monstrous, as big as the Russian in Rocky 4. He feels like the last two movies, Rocky Balboa and Creed, don't have that colorful villain like we had in Rocky 3, for example, even Rocky 1 with Apollo. The last two villains have been way more realistic, as the boxing has also been more realistic in the way they film it. than the rest of the series for Rocky. So I don't know if that's going to be a good direction for him. It might be more entertaining to make something more unrealistic and cartoony, but I'm not sure. It could work, and I do trust Stallone, especially as he's nailed the last two already.
I don't think they need something that big and colorful for the movie to be entertaining. I mean, we just saw it with Creed. You didn't need something that colorful. I think the villain in these movies needs to be emotions and the situations that they're going through and how they're trying to work through everything, because that's what people relate to most. I do not relate to a big Russian boxer who's trying to beat me up. Like that situation, yes, I'm rooting for you, but that situation doesn't drive me.
Well, you're right, and with characters, that's exactly correct, but the counter argument is that we don't remember the last two movies for their villains, or even remember their villains for anything in particular. In Rocky 1 and 2, Apollo is huge. I mean, he's coming in recreated as George Washington in the first movie. He fights him again for the rematch in the second one. You had Mr. T in Rocky 3, who was fucking entertaining. Rocky 4, you have, of course, the Russian. Rocky 5 we'll forget about, but even that had the student who then went against Stallone, and that was really huge. But the last two movies, it's, as you've said, more focused on the characters, and I agree for the better, but just to play devil's advocate, not as memorable as what we've had in the past.
I don't know, I'd rather have that.
So in relation to Creed director Ryan Coogler, Marvel Studios confirmed last week that he has been hired to direct the upcoming Black Panther film.
I will save my comments till after I read this quote. "We are fortunate to have such an esteemed filmmaker join the Marvel family," said Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige. "The talents Ryan showcased in his first two films easily made him our top choice to direct Black Panther. Many fans have waited a long time to see Black Panther in his own film, and with Ryan, we know we've found the perfect director to bring T'Challa's story to life."
Black Panther is currently set to release on February 16th, 2018. Your comments on this?
So what they're really saying is the talents Ryan showcased in his first two films, and being black, easily made him our top choice.
It sounds like she's joking, but to be honest with you, it did have to be a black director for Black Panther. If they're going to tell a story of the very first solo black superhero, although you can make an argument for Blade also, but it should be an up-and-coming or even an established black director. You can bring over some of the other characters that he's used in the previous films. With Ryan Coogler in general, he's proven himself with Creed and his other films. He's done some amazing scenes with Rocky, or
right,
with Creed.
Of course, and I don't want anybody to take my comment as I don't like him as a director. I really, really enjoyed Creed. I really enjoyed the way some of that was filmed. So as a director, yes, I think he is a good choice.
And I don't think anyone can argue that, because once again, it did have to. Who else would you get for Black Panther?
You couldn't. You have to.
You think a white director is going to represent Black Panther as well in the movie, or give it as maybe he could, maybe he couldn't. I don't, or she, who knows? But in this case, I think it's extra special that it is an African American directing an African American superhero. That's pretty huge. And with Ryan Coogler, let's hope they made the right choice and that he makes a kick-ass Black Panther movie. Because as far as the previous Marvel movies, we've liked Captain America 1 and 2, Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's basically it. The rest of them were just kind of like, they were okay, or we didn't like them.
Right.
So I want Black Panther to also be in that short list of movies that we bought or want to buy.
And guys, that is going to do it for part 1 of our podcast. Like we said in the beginning, it's a supersized podcast. It is a 2-parter, so this is the end of part 1. We still have more movie news when we come back. Again, our spoiler full review of Star Wars, which I finally got to see, and our comic book pull list of the week.
Thank you so much, Brokettes, for tuning in this week or for this episode if you're listening to this on Patreon. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at ReasonsI'mBroke or on Facebook.com/TheReasonsI'mBroke. For a link to all of these places, just head on over to TheReasonsI'mBroke.com.
So for our Patreon supporters, we'll see you in just a minute. For the rest of our listeners, we'll see you next week. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Daniel.